All right, we move on to another exciting weekend in college football. The headliner in this week, Alabama going down to Gainesville to take on the Gators. Their biggest matchup of the year so far, and Florida's no doubt as well. We know Drink will have plenty to say about that one, but plenty of other
That's right.
good matchups. In the early window at noon, you got Oklahoma playing Nebraska. Cincinnati gets their first Power Five challenge of the year. They'll go to Indiana. You also got Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Michigan State, Miami. Later on, Georgia Tech and Clemson. You probably won't want to miss that one. There's a good one in the nightcap. ABC hooking you up with Auburn and Penn State, and perhaps a little underrated matchup on the ACC network at 7:30. It's Virginia and North Carolina. Drink, what do you make of this weekend's action?
Hey, first of all, I just want to give you, I like how you slid in that Virginia, North Carolina, but hey, you're not wrong about that game. But,
Thank you.
you know, I would be remiss if I don't start with my boys down there in Tuscaloosa. You know what time it is. You know, we got to roll in Gainesville. First SEC game of the year. I always get nervous about the first SEC game of the year because one, we always seem to play a team in the SEC East bracket, and it's always a team that we haven't really played at their home in quite a while. We haven't been in Florida in 10 years. Going down there, the new cat Bryce Young, hostile environment, Florida, a French top 10 team. We know they got some talent. But you see what Vegas said, 14 and a half. I think we go down there, we take care of business. I wouldn't be surprised if we beat them by 21. I'm looking at that probably 34-21, something like that. We will give up points because Florida, they have talent. I'm not going to disrespect them and say they don't have talent. It's just, I think now Alabama, Nick Saban, the guys he recruiting, he's found like a key, like a blueprint on just how to perform week after week now. And as long as our defense play at the level that they're playing at, granted, it's hard to tell when we going over a Miami themed welcome mat and then we play Mercer in week 2. It's kind of hard to see that, but then you look over at Florida, you say the same thing. They played Florida Atlantic week 1 and then South Florida week 2. Yeah, all right, cool. There's some stiff competition now. So this game will tell us a lot about both teams. And then the second game that intrigues me outside of that is Auburn. Number 22 Auburn going to number 10 Penn State. Here's the deal. I think people got to put some respect on Penn State. As much as I love my conference, SEC, whoop, whoop, you know what I'm saying, tough, tougher than a $2 steak. But the conference that we always give credit to behind the SEC is the Big Ten. And the Big Ten got some teams where we have to open our eyes. One of those teams is Penn State. And here's the thing about Penn State. Penn State have a very unique home environment. And Auburn will find out about that. Auburn, you going there, it's going to be a whiteout game. We know how Penn State get with these whiteout games. We're used to seeing these games when they're playing the likes of Ohio State and Michigan and Iowa. But this year you got, one of the SEC hitters in here. And one thing I think is important in this game is Auburn has yet to really show a true offense, the Brian Harston offense that he's bringing from Boise State. But I'm telling you just like this, SEC fans, I know y'all might kill me on this one. If Auburn goes in there with some group of 5 trash, they getting smoked. He can't come in here with that Boise State. Bo Nix, first of all, ain't the guy that's finna be throwing the ball all over the field. Penn State that made it pretty clear they got a defense. You're playing the game at Penn State. Vegas got them by 5 points. Don't go in there with that, we the SEC, we seen what Arkansas did to Texas. This ain't an Arkansas-Texas thing right here. All right, this is a whole different ball of wax here. And Penn State is for real. Auburn coming in here with a group of 5 coach. They ain't really proved nothing yet, so let's let him prove something. But this is a big game, I think, for both conferences. The winner of this, game, even though Penn State beat Wisconsin, if you go out here and lose to Auburn, I think it will put you behind the curve when we're talking playoffs. So that's a game. And then the last of the top 25 matchups, number 19 Arizona State going against number 23 BYU. the Pac-12 got a chance to make another, ranked statement. Oregon did it last week. Now, Arizona State can do it this week. See what Herm Edwards and the young kid Jaden, the quarterback, see what they can do, get things cracking. We know with BYU they bring the smoke usually, once a year against a Power 5 team. Too bad they couldn't do enough to get into the Big 12 sweepstakes, but we'll see how they go down the road. And then a couple of top 10 teams playing, shall I say, mediocre, competition, but we got to give them a shout out. You got Oklahoma versus Nebraska. That game will be on the big noon kickoff. And then you got number 6 Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Listen, Clemson favored by 28, so we know how that's going to go. They got ACC Network all over it.
That game's on ABC.
Oh wow.
I don't know why.
Wow. That game got ACC Network wrote all over it. It is on ABC.
That should be on the ACC Network. I completely agree.
I'm starting to believe the guy that do the girl or guy that do the scheduling might be a weatherman. He's just out here just throwing stuff and see if it'll stick to the wall. They say put them on the app, put them on ABC, put them on NBC Plus. Like,
yeah.
Just
thank you for saying guy or girl. I gotta applaud that level of inclusion. That's just tremendous.
Well, here's the deal. Women they out here doing just as much as us men now, so I gotta show that respect. But I got a triple header for upset alerts. Here's the deal. Upset alert, the drink of wisdom style. My first one is South Carolina and Georgia. I know that South Carolina is a major underdog against Georgia, but I just got a feeling that at some point this lackluster offense will get caught up. So some team is going to catch Georgia slipping. And I'm not talking about a team like Alabama. I'm not talking about a team like Texas A&M. I'm not talking about like an upper echelon team. I'm talking about a team that shouldn't catch them slipping, that will catch them slipping. This is what we know about Georgia. Georgia recruits very well, but they also shrink at the biggest moments. So with that said, Kirby Smart has a propensity for dropping the ball when he needs to not drop it. I wouldn't be surprised if South Carolina, the young guy Shane Beamer comes in here with his grad assistant quarterback and gets it done and upsets Georgia in Athens. And then you got Central Michigan. I think they got a good chance of beating LSU. I don't know what's going on with LSU. LSU losing more guys this week to injuries or whatever the case might be. Central Michigan gonna just come in there chugging along, making their little plays, averaging 4 yards a play, and it's gonna be enough to squeak one over LSU. And then let me tell you something, baby. Hey, LSU, if y'all lose to Central Michigan, one, I'm gonna get a good piece of change off that. But two, it's time for Ed Orgeron to be over with. It's time for him to be done. It might be time because I don't see where you can show me where he's gonna rekindle some flame and make LSU great again. I don't think it's gonna happen. And I'm gonna tell you right now, with all the restrictions they got going to LSU games, I don't know if fans gonna be willing to go through all that just to go and watch their team lose to some rooty poots. So I'm just telling you right now, Ed O might have to go. And then my third one is Washington State over USC. I think with USC, with everything they got going on there, they fired Clay Helton. They don't quite know who they want to take over the program. They just kind of in a little turmoil here. I think Washington State could come in and sneak one in. They're not focused on the game all that much, so why not just come on in, get us a quick little dub, and roll on out and take it back to Washington. So yeah, I got Georgia, LSU, and USC all on upset alert. You heard it here first.
Yeah, obviously the headliner, Alabama and Florida. I haven't been able to get a good look at either team. The Miami game. I was on the road doing my thing on the in the broadcast booth.
Right.
I did miss that one, and I'm sorry. I'm not watching Alabama and Mercer. It's just not. I don't see the point. The only. Obviously when Virginia plays some clown school, I'm going to tune in. When they play the likes of William and Mary or whatever, I'll watch them. But
them your boys. It's much of the expected.
Yeah, but and obviously the same with you. Like I know just to like it's just like almost like a health and comfort thing. I just got to check in, make sure y'all doing all right. Okay, all right, the game's well in hand. I can go ahead and maybe I tune out by the third quarter or something. But so obviously they've looked at least by the score, and obviously you beat Miami by 31. And we've been told Miami was a top 15 team or something. So, you're doing something right. Bryce Young has looked fantastic. And just judging by how other, so-called contenders, at least in the preseason, have looked so far, Alabama looks like they might be in a league of their own once again. Whether it's Ohio State already going down to Oregon, whether it's Clemson, losing to Georgia. Whether it's Georgia, even though they beat Clemson, they're like, what is this offense doing? We know they put up big numbers against UAB last week, but we'll see how it goes. We get a chance to see how Oklahoma will do against Nebraska in the big noon setup, so that'll be something to see. Also, Nebraska they were awful in week 1 against Illinois. They have won 2 straight games in a row, although I'm not sure they played anybody of consequence. So obviously, Scott Frost, you've been here for a little bit now. We'd like to see some results at some point. So, but I think Florida coming in as well. This is Florida's played with Florida Atlantic and South Florida. They've won both games by 3 scores. So obviously they've handled their business. But obviously, really their first big test as well. How do they stack up against Alabama? Everybody in the SEC and really in the country, they're coming for Alabama. So, we know Florida under Dan Mullen has been really exciting offensively. They got 2 quarterbacks back there that can do things for you, Emory Jones, and I'm skipping on the other guys.
Jason Richardson.
Is it Jason Richardson?
No, his last name Richardson. I don't know. I blanked on his first name.
Well, they got some dudes back there, and there might be a little bit of controversy at old Jacksonville correspondent has said a few things as much. But I think, Florida's defense, though, it seems like their defense hasn't been up to par lately. And if I had to guess, I think that's where Alabama's going to get them. That Florida won't be able to. It's going to be hard to. I think Alabama's defense, so they'll get a stop here and there when they need to. As Florida's defense likely will struggle against the well-oiled machine that is Alabama. It is on the road though, so maybe they'll have some.
His name is Anthony Richardson. I'm sorry.
Anthony Richardson. Yeah, there he is. He's been pretty electric so far in somewhat maybe limited playing time compared to Emory Jones. So we'll see how Dan Mullen manages that, as we move along. But definitely, it's the beginning of the SEC season for both teams, so a lot of excitement around that one. Also, the CBS music will be in play, so that's always something we can look forward to.
Right.
But as far as other things that we're looking for, Cincinnati, underrated matchup in the noon hour. They get their first Power 5 matchup. They go on the road. They play Indiana. Remember, Indiana was Iowa mopped the floor with them in week 1. But we do know Indiana was very good last season. They were, outside of Ohio State, they were probably the most impressive team the Big Ten had out there. So, we talk about Cincinnati. We talk about the Group of 5. Can a team from the Group of 5 sneak in to the college football playoff? Obviously, you got to go undefeated. You have no margin for error at all to even get talked about, to even be in the discussion. We've seen that with Central Florida. We saw that with Cincinnati last year. So you got to win this one. And I think they will. The line's only 3.5, but I think they will take care of business. And moving on, there's Georgia Tech and Clemson. I have no idea why that's an ABC game. Everybody with everybody that still has only the local channel somehow, they probably deserve better than that. Auburn and Penn State, though, I do think Penn State already got a huge win in week 1, starting off beating Wisconsin. Now you get a chance to, play against the SEC team that is in the top 25. So Penn State early on, they can win this game. That's our early, that's a little bit of a resume already. There ain't gonna be many teams already that have beat 2 top 25 teams, one from the Big Ten, one from the SEC. So that's certainly something to look forward to. And as far as Auburn, I don't know. I don't think the expectations were, tremendously high. But if you go on the road and beat Penn State, that changes things, and maybe they can, maybe we look at Auburn a little bit differently if they're able to win this one. Other than that, Iowa State, can we get it together finally? I mean, I know it's only UNLV, but I'm looking at this guy Brock Purdy. This guy's numbers are horrible right now. You've thrown for 337 and 3 picks, and that's in 2 games. What is happening? And you got a headline out here that I happen to gloss over and said, "Oh, the Iowa State sticking with Brock Purdy," and I'm like, "Well, why? What's the problem there?" And then I look at, "Oh, no wonder there's a question, because your numbers are below average at best." So obviously, I think Matt Campbell, and they, at least, from what I'm seeing, or since he's been at Ohio or Iowa State, it seems like they just get off the slow starts for whatever reason. They seem to get better as the season go along. I hope that's what starts in this game, because the Big 12 obviously needs Iowa State, because you have the whole Oklahoma Texas thing leaving, so they need somebody, a big dog, to step up and kind of carry the load as best they can. Iowa State, please do that. Please get on. Don't flop around against UNLV. That's just not going to be a good look.